One, two, three, mic check, mic check. Hello, hello, hello. Actually, mic seems to be a little bit high. One sec. Turn it down a bit. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's turn down the music. Alright. I hope you can all hear me fine. Everybody out there. Let me grab a drink real quick and then we're going to start. I don't know about this music. But I don't want to get copy strike. No. I don't want to be in that situation. Okay. Welcome everybody. I hope you're having a great Easter weekend. Man, my eyes. Ah. I hate it. I hate it so much. Yeah. First game development stream I have been doing in a while now. For those of you who don't know, I'm currently streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch. So make sure to say hi in chat when you're around. Would be really nice. So what are we going to do? So excuse me. I've been working on this little game project for the last few, I'd say a couple of weeks now. It's not much, but there still has a lot of work been going into it. I didn't want to do that. Let me open my code editor. So maybe I'm going to just show you the current work in progress. Let me first open the right scene. Let me see. No, that's not the one. Man, this gets so unwieldy. I hate that all these assets just plop themselves into the main folder of the project. It's so annoying. What I do about that is usually I put all my stuff in a folder called __game. Now why __game? Well, because the underscore makes sure it's at the top of the list here. So yeah, in game, because that's all my game stuff. So this and everything else that you can see right now, these are all assets I'm currently using. We have these damage numbers, we have data brain, these projectile effects that I've been using. This generated folder is actually something that comes from me. We have the GPU ECS animation baker, a tool for using animation and dots. And then we have these plugins, which is Animancer and Audio Inspector. Now Animancer, I'm probably not, I'm not using it right now. I'm using the GPU ECS animation baker, which I think for the game that I'm doing is actually good enough. It lacks a bit of feature depth when it comes to animations. But since this is just going to be like a Vampire Survivor style game with a little bit of tower defense mechanics, we actually don't need that many animations, right? We just basically all we need is idle and run, and that's it for now at least. Then we have the Polygon Sci-Fi pack, which is basically a Cinti Studio asset pack. As you know, the Unity project is currently called Cinti Survivor because I wanted to make a game using Cinti assets, and that's why I call this way. Yeah, Text Merge Pro. This stuff is all nice. And then we have our little scene here. We have our camera light, virtual camera. We're using Cinemachine for cameras, which is pretty much the it's not the only one. The damage number stuff is also game object world, but yeah. Let me real quick check. Bum. We're using the wrong. Well, just one sec, please. I need to sort this stuff out. All right. So yeah. Holy shit. This one. And then we need to. Nope. That's way too big. That's what she said. Wah, wah. Let's do maybe like this. Let's hide this one. Okay, now we have the right camera setup, which basically only takes away more screen space, but you know, it is what it is. So the game is currently in a very basic state. We have some rough procedural map generation in there, but actually right now I'm considering not to do proc gen at all. Maybe it's better to just handcraft some nice stages for this kind of game, so that you can have like some stuff to explore, right? Which you could set up nicely. That would be cool. But right now, for testing this very, very, very basic procedure generation system, it does the job. That's what this map game object does. Now, as you can see, all these game objects, they reference these weird inspectors, which is data brain. Data brain is this tool that I'm currently trying for data management. In order to actually see the data, you need to click on the library here. So it's a way where you can, neatly organize your data stuff, all your configuration data pretty much for the game. And then what it basically does is it just stores this stuff into scriptable objects, right? So this is stuff that I'm currently using. Now, I'm not super happy with it. Mostly because it uses scriptable objects, which means that all the data is stored directly as a scriptable object, which means that it's a managed type, right? Which means that you can't just use it inside dots. You actually have to convert all the data from a scriptable object into components in dots, which is, that's what you do, right? You transfer your authoring data into entity components, which is not the end of the world, right? That's not the thing that I'm kind of sad about. The stuff that I'm actually sad about is that there is a lot of functionality in this asset. Like, for example, you have the stats module, which you can use to like define like experience curves and stuff like that. But all the functionality of these assets that you create is part of a scriptable object. So it would be you could like extract some data from it, but then all the functionality regarding like leveling up and stuff, which is already implemented in this module, which be cool for game object game, but you can't really use it inside of ECS unless you want to store all this stuff as managed data objects, as managed components, and also like without using burst and stuff, which all the caveats that come with that. And that's what I'm not about, right? I want this game to be as much dots as possible, and I'm not going to give up on that because of an asset that I use. So I'm currently considering doing like following a different approach when it comes to my data, making heavy use of prefabs and prefabs variants and stuff like that. But that's currently only a consideration. What I like about this tool is that you have your data neatly organized, right? And I really would love to keep using this, right? It's really neat. But yeah, it's not really compatible with dots, so yeah, that's sort of an issue. Now, I'm currently considering maybe writing a similar tool, like a simple version of that for myself to just organize my prefabs in a neat way without having to do this all inside the file structure, right? Which can be I mean it works, but it can be sort of inconvenient, let's say that. My current approach is, as you can see, we have some prefabs, but the idea is actually that you have like prefabs and then the configuration data separated, right? So your configuration data lives inside of data objects in DataBrain. Like, for example, we have these character meshes, right? Which is basically, in the end, it's just a reference to a mesh prefab in this case. But you also have stuff like weapon configuration, which right now has 2 fields. Not much, but in the end, it could end up being a lot more. And then you only have like prefabs where you really need it, right? So, for example, the mesh needs to be a prefab. Yeah, because otherwise you couldn't really author it, right? So it also, I mean, especially with like these kind of assets, like the Cinti stuff, they have like these very highly nested prefab setups, right? Which is all the bones, and then you also have like meshes for pretty much all the characters that they have. It's all just prefab variants pretty much. So yeah, that's one thing that you can't really get around using prefabs. But then I also have like this enemy character prefab, right? Which has all the stuff that you need to simulate the character. So we have the third-person character authoring, and we have the physics shape and stuff like that. And what I'm doing right now is I spawn these enemy prefabs, and then I just take the mesh and parent it, or make it a child of the character, which has some significant challenges, which come with that, right? Because parenting in ECS still means that you have 2 separate objects, right? And even though there's like functionality to that transforms are synced, right, and that you can actually delete one prefab and the children are deleted, but you need to make sure that you have like a correct setup. Like just adding a parent doesn't do the trick. And then there's also things like, oh man, I really want to do something with this related prefab, right? Now I can't just do everything in one query. I have to query the root entities, and then I need to load all the children to get their components and stuff, which is of course not super efficient, right? You don't really want that. So ideally you would just want to have like one entity for each character, which means you would need to instantiate the mesh, and then you would need to add like all your all your components to it manually, which you could do, but it's kind of cumbersome. So now unfortunately I need to run to the bathroom real quick, so I'm going to swap to the sorting screen real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So there's also this one asset I actually wanted to check out. Let's have a look together. Hot Path show, which was on last night's no, that's not the one. Turbo Mix Games, that's the one, I believe. And in this episode, did he actually link the assets that he was talking about? Black Box Prefab, that was the one. So this is the assets that I was considering maybe using for my data management, because what it allows you is to basically set up your prefabs in a way that hides a lot of the data that you don't want to really bother with, right? Turns it into a much neater workflow. Yeah, I'm probably going to try this out at some point. Sorry, I was just a little bit distracted reading all the stuff. Can I add this to our wish list? Is it on there? Saved for later. What do I actually have on my list? Let's have a quick gander. Favorite Simply Fantasy. That's ECS animation mega pack. What's this? What's this all about? This full animation package includes all animation used on our Element space title. Yes, all 1,174 of them. All proxy models that were made for them. That's a lot of animations. Holy cow. This... Interesting. No wonder I added this to my wish list. Which else do we got? We have the fantasy, simple fantasy stuff, which is basically I already have this, so I can actually remove this. Then we have shapes, of course. Shapes is something I really want, but it's also something that is kind of expensive, to be honest. So I'm waiting for a sale for that. Then we have the enhanced stuff, which I already have in the Unreal Marketplace. So that's probably why I didn't bother to buy those. So yeah. So let's have a look at the game that we have so far. Let's hope this doesn't crash. So we have this little top-down stuff. We have an animated character, then we have enemies spawning, and then we have crashes happening. Of course we have crashes happening. Why does it crash? Why wouldn't it? Reflection data was not set up by initialize. These bugs are kind of weird, not gonna lie. So let's try this again. We run around and then we crash. Nice. Spawn projectile system. Let's have a look. 955. All we really do is this stuff. I'm not waiting for this to complete, right? That's an issue. Let's do this, even though it's kind of bad, but let's try this. I mean, it's not bad. I have to wait for the result of the sorting anyway, so I don't think that's a big issue. I hope, at least. Man, what's going on? So yeah, as you can see, we have enemies that chase us around using our very own flow field pathfinding algorithm, which is, you know, it kind of works, but not great. And then we have like a basic health and damage system. And yeah, we have weapons, a weapon that shoots projectiles, which you can see here. For instance, this very beautiful, pretty projectile prefab. Oh, I can actually run on top of this. I didn't even know that. So yeah, as you can see, it looks a little bit chuggy for some reason, but it's still like over 120 FPS. So it actually runs quite fast, and we have like a ton of enemies. But yeah, as you can see, it's a bit buggy still, and one of the issues is like the pathfinding, and it's also very like the reason it feels a little bit chuggy is because there are like spikes and hitches in performance every time the flow field gets regenerated, which is because the character moves around, right? So the player character moves around, and every time the character moves to a new position on the underlying grid, the flow field needs to update so that the enemies run towards that new position, right? Now I'm already only doing it if the character switches between grids, so only if he moves basically a little bit on the grid, and then it gets regenerated, and then it waits until he moves back into a different grid cell basically, and that's kind of slow. Like this one part of the flow field algorithm that generates the integration field, it takes about 20 milliseconds or so, which is enough to be noticeable hitches. So yeah, that's why I'm currently considering dropping this whole pathfinding custom solution for a pre-made solution, which it doesn't use flow fields. It just uses a star or something like that. Now I'm currently considering two options. One is the agents navigation package, I believe it's called. Let me check real quick. Yeah, agents navigation, which is basically a star implementation as far as I know. And then we of course have the almighty A star, which is, I think, yeah, that's this one, A star pathfinding project, which recently released its version 5.0, which also has some dots workings in the background. What the fuck? Didn't I just copy that URL here? Cool. This asset, this UI is so bad. Like, what the fuck? Unity, please make this doesn't look at all like the screen in the asset store. Just make it look a little bit prettier. I mean, come on, why doesn't this work? What the fuck? Publisher website. Man, I hate, sometimes the Unity editor is so bad. Let's see. Where is the change log? Is it in the forum maybe? Maybe here? Change log. So it has this new follower entity implementation, which uses a star. No, that's not what I want. ECS in the background. The only issue with this is that there isn't like an official authoring like component for subscenes right now. At least it wasn't when it was released, the 5.0. Basically this still is meant to be used with the game objects, right? But it does the simulation in the background using ECS, and then it syncs the game object, right? Which is not 100% what I would love. And then we have the agent navigation package, which is basically a plain ECS implementation for pathfinding. So yeah. Oops. Now I wonder what should I do next? Maybe I should start with the pathfinding stuff. Get it done. It would really, I think it would really help with the most of the performance, right? Now the performance stuff is the thing is the performance impact of the flow field animation, the flow field pathfinding is, if I could get it down, it would be down constantly, right? Because it's basically the amount of work that needs to be done for the flow field pathfinding is basically based on the map size, right? It's not about the amount of agents that you run, it's about the map size. So if you have a map that is 128 times 128, then that has a fixed amount of time required to compute a flow field. So if I could get this down, then I would be certain that that the performance would be the same, at least for that part of the algorithm, regardless of how many agents there are on the map. The thing that would get is actually affected by the amount of agents is the actual sampling of the flow field that is done by the AI agents. But this is such a simple piece of code, right? It basically only looks, hey, where am I on the map? Look at the flow field for this coordinate and tell me where to move, right? That's so simple. You couldn't make a simpler pathfinding algorithm if you tried, right? So I'm not scared about that. And then also the amount of agents we just have on this test implementation, let's call it like that, of the map is so many. It's like I believe it's like 500 or something, which isn't like extreme numbers like that you could see in other ECS themes, but it's probably more than we would ever need for this kind of game, I would assume. As you could tell, the screen was basically full with enemies. That was all there was. So yeah, I might end up dumping it because I currently have no good idea on how to improve the performance of the integration field generation code, which is just a few lines of code, but it's really easy to see why this is why this is slow, because it just scales with map size. So what we're basically doing is we iterate over every field of the map, and then we look into this neighbors array, and then we do some cost calculation, right? And the problem is with this while loop here, which makes it really hard to wrap my head around. This is an algorithm that I'm not super familiar with. I've just written this based on a write-up I've seen on the internet, and I have yet to find a way to parallelize this part here. If I could make this into a job, this would be super fast, right? Just split it into smaller chunks, to like smaller chunks of the map, and then yeah, all's good, right? So yeah, but I haven't found a way to do this, and this is basically this part here is what's costing about 20 milliseconds right now, and it's because this is just a loop, and if you have like a 128 times 128 map, you have like 16k. Okay. How big is the map actually? So we have like 16k, right? So this is like at least 16,000 iterations, but it's not limited to it, because a neighbor could be a index could be checked multiple times, right? Based on how the cost. And last time I checked it in the profile, I think this resulted in like 90k iteration, something like that. Which is slow, because this is not a like linear memory access or something like that, right? You do a lot of random reads here, this particular part. So yeah, that's pretty much the reason I'm currently considering swapping away from this kind of from the flow field stuff. And also, like, I want to add like tower defense elements to the game. So right now the flow field works really well because there's only the player, right? And every enemy basically wants to move towards the player. So basically, if you don't know what a flow field is, it's basically, imagine you have like your map which is like a grid, right? And then in each grid, you basically have like an arrow that's pointing in a direction, right? And if you follow the arrow of the grid cell that you're currently in, and then you move to the next one, and then you follow the arrow that this one points to, you will eventually end up at a single point on the map, which is the player position. And this only works for a single point on the map, right? So you could end up with variations where you could have like multiple targets, and then you would have to compute the flow field for multiple targets at once, and which would be quite complicated, I feel like. So yeah, if I wanted to add like towers and stuff like that, so there's like multiple possible destinations for an enemy, based on how close they are and stuff like that, this could easily become quite slow, but also maybe not. I've actually not tried that approach. It should work out. The problem is still that no matter how you calculate this algorithm, this part is going to be slow anyways, because you have to iterate over the whole map. So yeah, that might be an issue. Okay, so with that being said, what can we actually do to change that? Should we just try to integrate another pathfinding solution? And would that even work without enough mesh? I'm not quite sure how this agent's navigation. Let's try. Let's just GitHub. That's not what I wanted. Let's download this, import this to our project. Why not? And how can one more asset be? Okay, let's see if there's an which one is it? Did I not just import it? In project. Oh, it might actually be in packages. Yes. This one actually is in the packages. Nice. Not found. Okay, there you go. So quick start. Game object and blah 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 entity subscene. Before jumping into the section, make sure you're familiar with it. Yeah. Let's have a look. Agent cylinder destination game object to extensive previous script. Agent set destination. Basically what the... This is basically what you need to do, huh? That would be really simple, wouldn't it? Let's see about nav mesh. This should explain how to do minimal setup for nav mesh navigation. This package reuses the baking process. Firstly, you will need to create a nav mesh surface. Now you need... So does this actually need enough mesh though? That's the question I'm curious about. Crowd setup. This tutorial will explain how to do minimal setup for agent crowd flow. Create a crowd surface. Do I need this? Now, of course, one question is, would I actually be able to get this to work with the dots character controller? Which is what I'm currently doing, right? Let's see. Move agent system. I mean, there isn't really much to it, right? This is cute. Videos. Oh, look, it's doable. The man, the myth, the legend. Custom locomotion. Let's have a look. Tank locomotion. We have a body velocity. And body is pretty much the agent body, right? Let's see. What is... This is such an outdated... outdated approach, right? It does not use a baker. This is so weird. I'm not quite sure I understand what's going on here. Mm-hmm. Why does this not come with samples? In the package folder named samples. Okay. Why don't I have samples over here? Mm-hmm. Why no samples? Am I missing something? Click window package manager, packages and project agents, navigation samples. Nope, no samples. That kinda sucks. Known issues, no samples. Hmm. I'm not sure about this.